What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to G-Ball Vision. Today I have for you guys another exciting unboxing to dig into. Now, I did cut this open because I wasn't sure exactly what it was. I didn't know if it was some oddball thing that I ordered. But once I saw the side of the box, I was like, oh, it's not an oddball thing that I ordered. So I decided to stop what I was doing and start recording what I was doing. So what we have, guys, is a very nice presentation from Vosteed, which is always the case. They do and have some of the best unpackaging, and they give you the best unboxing experience out of almost every single company. I mean, the nice box, then you got the nice hard plastic case. Now, this is with their more premium line of stuff, but they still have very nice packaging, even with their more affordable line. So, standard affair, we have a nice Vosteed patch here. We have a sticker, which I love to see. We have extra hardware here, Omega springs, which is a very nice touch. And the sticker may have given it away. We have our microfiber cloth, and our sticker says sausage dog, which is interesting. So what we have, guys, let's clear this stuff out of the way here, and we will get started, baby. So we got the Vosteed Daucshan here, guys, and this thing has been on my mind. A lot of people have been asking me about this knife and or telling me to get this knife, and this is going to be more on the premium end of Vosteed's knives. You know, not up there quite with the Chaos, but getting up there. I want to say these come in right around $199.99. I think that's full retail price, and I don't know, you know, if there's a sale on them or what the scoop is. The last time I did look, though, they were both in stock. So let's start with the blade here. We have a nice PVD coated finish. Kind of has like a tumble look to it. It's not extremely shiny like some. Nice sheep's foot blade, nice straight edge. I wonder if there's a slight, and I mean ever so slight, belly to it. Nice swedge going from the very top here all the way down to the tip there. That looks awesome. We're looking at M390 on the steel, which is a nice touch. M390 titanium, black wash titanium. You don't really see this a ton. I don't know how many knives, if any, do I have with a black washed titanium handle. I mean, I know they're out there, but so we got an all titanium handle. We have open construction, internal milling in there, deep pockets of internal milling. We have a lanyard loop and a standoff there, which is basically the connector for the clip and the filler tab. So that was nice to keep hardware very minimal. Very nice touch there. And very nice construction. I mean, we have a clean pivot there. We have a body screw and then a filler tab screw. And then we have our clip screw, body screw, and then so that's not much hardware at all to deal with if we're talking about taking this apart. Now, I don't know. I'm only assuming here because you can't tell by looking in there, I don't think. I don't know if this is adjustable. I'm going to assume that it is, but we'd have to take it apart to know for sure. And I'm not going to do that in this video. We'll do that maybe in the next video on this knife. And there will be at least 2 more videos on this guy. Maybe we'll do a disassembly and overview of it in the same video. And then we'll do a follow-up, review on this guy as well. So like I said, guys, we will dive into more stuff in a later video. This is just the first impressions, but for anyone wondering, we have a full 3 inches of cutting edge and then 3 1/4 to this little point here. And then we're coming down 7 3/4 strong overall. So definitely a nice size. And I could tell by the pictures the way this was done, if my hand is the right size or was the right size, this would fit in here beautifully. And was I 100% right about that? This chamfering out here just really allows you to get a nice grip. So you have basically this whole area for your pointer finger, middle finger, and then you have this whole area for your pinky and ring finger. So you have a ton of real estate on this guy to get a nice grip. You can get right up behind that edge because this is all flat here. So you can get right up behind that edge. You can get right up on that tip, basically right above it, which is a nice spot to be at. Now, if you really need to get very detailed, you can do the old pinch grip there and get up on there with the index if you really need to be precise. But this is going to lend itself to being phenomenal when it comes to ergonomics and how you're using it while cutting. Let's see what this looks like in the pocket. Titanium milled clip. A little bit sticking out, which is standard affair for a milled clip. I love how they chamfered the edges and the nose of the clip there. That just, that looks really good. Really good. That's a nice little touch. Instead of just keeping it, a continuous rectangle, chamfering that out, that makes that look good. And it's going to aid a little bit in the ergonomics department where your pinky and ring finger wrap around there. So definitely going to be a nice pocket clip. It has good retention, standard milled clip. Thumb studs are placed nicely on this guy. You can get a ton of leverage. There's nothing in your way to get to them, so you'll be able to shoot them guys right up or right out, whichever you prefer. Reverse flick is money as well. And then they also give you a front flipper tab with some nice jimping there all the way up to the highest peak there. And I would say that's plenty. If you have a well-designed flipper tab, not that it would make a lot of sense, but if you have a well-designed front flipper tab, you can almost get away with not putting any jimping there, depending on the design and the detent or the springs, right? If you have a well-designed flipper tab and a properly tuned detent, you can almost get away with just doing the front flipper itself and leaving out jimping. Now, not that that would make a ton of sense, but there are knives that, that are similar to that, or they have little to no jimping, or it's just not even usable, but you can still front flip it because of the design and just how it's done and how the opening action is on the guy. But here's another example of a well done front flipper tab. Just pokes up just a little bit, and then you can get a nice rollover on that guy. You can get a ton on it, actually. A little bit more than I was thinking. Over the top, no question about it. And then you should be able to do the index rollover just fine, which you can. Yeah, the springs in this are very, very nice. I don't know, like I said, if this is adjustable. If it is, I'm going to be moving them up if they're not up, just because that's how I prefer them to be. I want it strong. I want it pretty strong. And I've never had any issues with Vosteed's edges. I'm really, really happy about Vosteed. They're not afraid to do some different things. They're not afraid to listen to the community. the knife community. They're just doing a lot right now. The edge is money, by the way, guys. The Vosteed RS Chaos, which is not this knife, but probably my favorite, at least one of my favorite knives of 2023, and it's still, right now, one of my favorite knives. It's so well done, and it's looking like this is going to be another one of them cases. This thing is extremely well done, well thought out. I think the only thing I could come up with to nitpick this thing, and it's very minuscule at best, I don't know if anyone will be able to think about it, but they nail everything, guys. The only nitpicky thing I could say is if they would have ran the jimping out a little bit further. But like I said, that's almost minuscule at best. You still get even, now if you're way up here, no, but that's where I'd like to see it ran out here a little bit more. And I don't think that would take away from the aesthetic, but we're far and few between when we get something like that. I think we'll see a day where a lot of the spines are a lot of jimping eventually. I would like to see that, because then when you're up here, you know, you have that jimping, but you're not sliding off. You're not having an issue staying there. So, like I said, it's a very, very moot point. But that would be about literally the only thing I could think of. After all that flicking and tumbling around, we're still perfectly centered. I didn't check that. Perfectly centered. And the other thing I was going to say was, wow, there's no up and down play, which is good. And then there's no side-to-side play, guys. And I was just messing with this earlier and thinking about this, because I've had a lot of crossbar knives come in lately, guys. Now, I'm going to bring these two out real quick, the Deca and the Benchmade. Now, this is what we're accustomed to. A little bit of side-to-side play. That's just what we've become accustomed to over the years, because that was a normal thing, to have a little bit of side-to-side play. Now, you guys can't really see it or feel it, but anyone who's been around crossbar locks for a little while knows that you're going to feel, in a lot of them, you know, especially older models, a little bit of side-to-side. It's only been over the last couple of months, 6 months or so, 8 months maybe, that we started seeing crossbar locks with even littler or no play on that lock bar. Now, I still get knives that have a little bit, test them, and they're completely fine. And, you know, those knives right there are completely fine. So it's not anything to throw up, you know, red flags about or anything like that as far as there being a little bit of play. It's just how the tang interacts with that bar sometimes. It's just not the best that it could be. It's basically good enough that it's not going to fail. It's not going to cause issues. But this is a knife right here that proves you can have extremely tight tolerances, and you're not going to have any side-to-side play, up and down play, and that you can still get incredibly good opening and closing action off this thing. So it's just a testament to the refinement that these companies are going to get that crossbar lock dialed in, tolerances as tight as they can be, and we're going to test the lock up here and just lightly test it and see what we have. But off first impressions here, this thing is extremely nice, and I see what all the rage has been about from the people who have either checked one out or bought one. This is definitely a fine crossbar locking knife with primo materials, multiple opening methods, and I've been getting a lot of crossbar locks in lately, so I've actually started to really like them. And getting this is kind of just another addition. I bet I've gotten 10 crossbar locking knives in the last couple of weeks or more. So it's been interesting. I've had a crossbar lock in my pocket a lot. So let's just lightly tap it. Solid lockup. Yeah, she's solid, guys. It would close. Yep. She's solid. And we're going to document all this. We have it recorded. But it's things I'm going to keep in mind. And as this gets broken in, carried, all that sort of thing, we'll test it again. And like I said before, guys, I'm not slamming this thing, swinging it like it's a baseball bat. We're just seeing if that interface is solid. And I know I've heard people say, so-and-so said this in order to let this do this. And yeah, but what about the knives that right out of the box are good to go? So that would be my only, side note is, yeah, I agree with letting them break in and that sort of thing. But on the other hand, we have knives like this that come right out of the box and are rock solid. So, it's kind of a fine line, and I've said that ever since the beginning of, doing that lock video, that it's a fine line that we walk, and there's always going to be this side and always this side. And I'm going to try to be on both and understand both. I understand knives need break-in, but I also understand there's knives that don't. And I also understand there's knives that will be broken in and pass after a certain point. But I also understand there's going to be knives that will not pass because there's an issue in there. So I want to know if it's passing out of the box. I'm not going to completely write the knife off if it does fail, i.e. the Rhino here. This failed in the unboxing. I didn't write this knife off. I gave it all the chances in the world, tried to fix it, and guess what? Its lock is rock solid now. So no issues with this knife. I think it's a great knife. So that's my thing. Nobody has to do what I'm doing. I'm doing this for the people who want to know right away, is the knife good out of the box? When I buy it, is it going to be good out of the box? Is it going to cut? Am I going to like the handle, the clip? Is the lock going to be solid out of the box, or am I going to have to break it in and hope that it stays locked up? So that's just my thing on that. Like I said, nobody has to follow my direction or, do what I'm doing. I'm just doing it so, you guys know, and I'm just putting the information out there. And I've always said I will be as honest, optimistic, and realistic as that you can possibly be. But the knife has to prove itself at some point in time. Prove that it's going to have a solid lock. Prove that it can be ergonomically good, and cut. And just like this knife, I wasn't willing to write it off just because the lock failed. I wanted to get it right. I gave it chances, and it proved itself. It can have solid lockup and be the knife that it was born to be. But that's just my little tidbit for anyone who is still listening. I know that some knives need break-in, but I also know that there's knives that come right out of the box or case, and they are good to go. So I want to know where the knives are falling. Does this need break-in or doesn't it? Type of a deal. Because a knife that doesn't right out of the box is basically just going to continually get stronger and stronger, or in theory, should just continue to get stronger and stronger. Now, there might be a point at which that goes the other direction, but I think it would be, a very, very long time when you would start to see decline in a positive locking knife, especially something like this. So that's just my theory, my thoughts, my opinions. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I love hearing from y'all. I love every one of you. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here or you've been here before and you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button down below the video. I would love to have you here. Otherwise, guys, I will catch you on the next one.